Now this is really how your Harley should sound. Let's get into it. Today I'm going to be showing you the difference between my Road Glide Limited, which has the new slimline duals from Reinhardt, with my inverted Moto Series air cleaner from them, to my buddy's Road Glide Limited. He has stock headers and my old DBX 40s that I had on this bike before. But before I do that, I want to tell you a little bit about the system, what it comes with, some of the installation stuff and all that, and then we'll get to the fun part of the video. But here's a little taste of what's to come. So last year when I did this video, I was like, man, how could this get any better? I mean, really, with the slip-ons, the bike still sounds really good. Trying to translate that on camera, it's a little bit harder, obviously, because as loud as these things can be, it tends to distort the mic a little bit. But I think you're going to be able to hear a significant difference either way. Now, the slimline duals are going to come with a couple of things. They're going to come with the laser cut heat shields already installed. It's going to save you a ton of time. You have a 12 and an 18 millimeter O2 port, and then plugs for the ones you don't use. It also is kind of in the name, right? The header configuration is set up so that it keeps as much heat as possible off of you and your passenger. And then the Moto Series inverted air cleaner has a couple of unique things as well. It's actually got a forged aluminum housing that goes over the filter. And then the way the filter is designed, it's able to get air from pretty much everywhere. The front, top, even on the bottom of it. So wherever it can get air, that thing is designed to do that. But it's also water resistant, so you don't have to put a rain sock or anything like that on there if you get caught in weather. Also the aesthetics, this thing looks way better than the big sucker from Arlen Ness that I had before. The slimline duals. So a couple of big things here is, like I said, they already come installed with the heat shields. You can get them in black or chrome with different end caps. Now, installation actually wasn't that bad, but fortunately I have a good friend of mine that knew if I were to do this, it would have taken me a lot longer because my back wouldn't be able to handle it, so he helped me out. But he, nor I, had never done a full system. So essentially taking the old system off, not too bad. We started with the slip-ons, crossover pipe, moved the header pipe. The new system wasn't bad either. We didn't have to put those heat shields back on because they were already there. Started up at the header, crossover pipe, back to the slip-ons. So the biggest thing there is really just making sure everything is loose enough so you can move things around as needed. So once you take off your old slip-ons, crossover pipe, undo your exhaust clamps, unbolt it from the header, that's really probably the hardest part, is just getting to a couple of these header bolts, but even that is not bad. The new crossover pipe isn't designed like the old one. The old one from Harley is actually flattened, so it will hug the bottom of the frame of the motorcycle. So what we did on this one, because it was hanging down a little bit too low on that side, is we actually jacked it up so we could get the maximum amount of clearance up under the bike. And then from there, I put the Power Vision 3 on here to put my tune, and this is the results. One big thing why people choose Reinhardt, at least from the people that I've talked to, you get that nice deep rumble at startup. You get that nice aggressive tone when you get on the throttle, and yet it smooths out when you don't want it. When you want to hear your radio or you just want to think while you're on your bike, right? It's not constantly wah, 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 wah in your ears the whole time. But when you want it, it's there. And so when they redesigned it with the converter, they obviously kept that in mind because you don't want to run off everybody that is loyal to your brand. And so they were able to achieve that sound and have the converter in the pipe. And the sound is where it's at, right? And so, you know, you could go with the 4-inch, you can go with the 4.5. I like the 4.5, and it has more of a deeper tone compared to my buddy's Road Glide Limited with the 4-inch. So the 4 and the 4.5 inch slip-ons have distinctive sound differences. Obviously, with the full system, we're getting more exhaust out, so that's gonna make a difference as well. But I think the 4.5 just has more of a deeper, cleaner rumble almost. This is the drone at 60 in 4th gear. 5th gear. It's super manageable. But again, if I open it up, I can hear every tone of that exhaust. It's a beautiful thing, boys. And then of course they do have systems for older bikes as well. This one right here fits a 17 and later touring model. And then if you have a trike or a freewheeler, there's actually conversion kits you can get along with this to make it work. It has that Reinhardt sound, exactly what we are looking for when you buy Reinhardt. Maybe even more impressive what other people hear, right? But we're the important ones. It's our bike. We want to make sure we hear it as well. And even with a full face helmet on, closed and all that, there is no question with this system, this intake, and the way it's set up, that you have Reinhardts on your bike. Man, I got to thank these guys again, Reinhardt, for sending this system out so I could show you the difference compared to a stock setup with just the slip-ons. Makes a huge difference. So if you have any questions or if you have any ideas, things that you want me to try with my own motorcycle here and I can make that work, make sure you leave them down below. Let me know what you think about your Reinhardt full setup or your slip-ons. One big thing too is everybody here gets a 15% off discount. Everything on the site, 15% off when you use the code HEGSHOT. That's a pretty big deal and a ton of savings that you can do for yourself. Big thanks to you guys. See you in the next one. And as always, hold them down.